Hello parents! This video is not for the kiddos. This video is for you. Being both a parent and a teacher is very, very hard. I know that it's very hard because I too am a parent and a teacher. So I know how just exhausting it can be and how much patience that is required to have to be able to do it to the best of your ability. And I just want to say that if you're spending time reading to your child, if you are spending time committed to having them write every day, just practicing the vocabulary words of the colors and the shapes, great job. You're doing great. That's all you need to do. And you just keep committed to that. But I know one of the hardest things to do is keep the patience when you have a student who struggles with what teachers call attending. Whenever you hear a teacher say the child struggles in attending, that just means paying attention, sitting in one space and staying focused on an activity from start to finish. Now, these are 3-year-olds, and their focus is small, and it's completely understandable that they can't stay focused for long periods of time. That's why it's so cool, and in our classroom, we have time scheduled for movement and play all day long. That's why it starts with sensory play, because they're learning as they're playing. They're learning balance. They're learning vocabulary. They're learning all sorts of things when they're playing. So if your child doesn't sit for a 20-minute lesson or a 20-minute anything, please know you are not alone, and that is completely normal for this age. They are meant for exploring and touching things and designing things. And what does this feel like? What does this taste like? What does this smell like? This is where they're learning their environment. And it's important for us to help them learn how to have a schedule and how to allow their time to be interrupted with daily activities every day. Because the number one skill you can give your child is to help them to be able to stop, look, and listen. It is a hard skill. We have certain students that we work with, and in the past I have worked with, that struggle for even attending for 30 seconds. If that is your student, then just make it a goal to make it a minute. Then make it 2 minutes as you practice, and then 5 minutes, and celebrate. Celebrate each time that they make it to the next one, because it's a lot for them, and it's a lot for you, and they're baby steps. Now, I made this video to talk about assessment and the importance of assessment, because sometimes you do not know that your child does not know something until you give them an assessment. Now, I've had families come to me and say, Miss Sarah, I really don't like doing assessments because it makes me feel bad that my child does not know these things. Let me tell you something. I am a teacher, okay? And if there was no assessment, I myself could not be a teacher. I told my classroom in the beginning of the school year, I wrote a letter to all of my students. I have ADHD and dyslexia, and it is hard. It is hard to learn. But the tools that I had came from assessment, because if you do not know what you don't know, you can't learn it, right? I'm going to give you a personal example from my own personal life, not just me, but as a mom. My son Isaiah has also my ADHD and my dyslexia. They no longer label dyslexia. They just label it learning disabled, because you struggle with reading. So you don't hear the term dyslexia very often anymore. That is why. But anyway, Isaiah was little, my pride and joy. I just thought the moon and stars just sat with him because I thought he was perfect. I still do. But anyway, when I took him to preschool, I learned that my Southern ways were not helping him. And what I mean by that is, if you know a Southern person, a Southern woman specifically, we are raised to be hospitable. If you come into our home, we're going to serve you food. We're going to make sure that you're comfortable. We're known for our throw pillows because we like to make things comfortable. My husband picks on me all the time about my throw pillows. I don't care. They're cute and comfy. But anyway, I digress. So I made Isaiah very comfortable, and I did a lot of things for him. And by doing that, I learned when I took him to preschool, he did not have the fine motor skills. Fine motor, when you hear a teacher say, your child struggles with fine motor skills, that just means hand strength, okay? Isaiah went to preschool and he wasn't able to do specific skills needed for self-care. For example, he couldn't button his pants. He couldn't button his coat. He couldn't cut with scissors. He struggled with holding a pencil. These skills are very important to start practicing with your student now. If your child doesn't know the alphabet, but they can sit for a story, oh my gosh, you're doing amazing. If your child can dress themselves and they can put on their own clothes, you're doing great things. And also, sometimes kids can do one thing really, really well and they don't do something else really well. They may not know their alphabet and numbers, but they are so kind and compassionate. Every child is different. Every child's gift should be celebrated, right? And every child has areas of weakness, okay? And the importance of assessment is to be able to know what those target weaknesses are so that you can practice them and make them strengths. So by learning that my son struggled with fine motor, hand control, I was able to put him in to occupational therapy. Occupational therapy is somebody who comes in an extra teacher. And let me tell you, all right, never be afraid to get your child this extra assistance. This is why. It is cool to have the cool teacher come in with the extra cool toys when you are in preschool. If they are in the older grades, then it becomes a little bit harder and a little bit of segregating. At least that's how they feel. You know, the educational system has done an amazing job at trying to make those transitions less by incorporating extra teachers into the class and doing less pulling out. But still, it is more socially accepted in elementary school and in primary and in preschool. So if your child struggles with those kinds of things, coming from a background of my own learning disabilities, watching my son struggle with learning disabilities, I am a firm believer that if you can get extra help, you get the help. Because I'm telling you right now, my son, who struggled with holding a pencil, is graduating this year, and he is doing amazing. And those hands that he struggled with, he plans on being a carpenter. So it didn't matter that he struggled with it then, because now he's going into a trade where he uses his hands. So please understand that these are not that big of a deal. And if your child struggles with something, then we need to learn that so that we can help them learn that. All right? I made this little thing to give you as an example. It is hard for 3-year-olds to pay attention, and it is extra hard for a child to pay attention when they have what is called interrupting thoughts. One of the best things that my mom did for me was she told me, and I'm telling you, I was one of those kids that was all over the place, okay? So she would look at me and she'd go, "Sarah Beth, did you hear the words coming out of my mouth?" And then she would say, "Look at me. Look at me when I'm talking to you. If a teacher is talking to you, you look at them." Let me tell you why that is important. Because if you have a child who has interrupting thoughts, which means they lose their focus quickly, if they are looking at you if they are looking at that teacher, and even when their brain blinks out, they're going to learn more once they learn to physically look at that person than they are if they don't. If every interrupting thought, they're over here or they're over here, they're going to lose part of the learning. It was the best thing that my mom taught me. In fact, everywhere I go, I get praised for my eye contact. But that it helped me in the fields of work because it reflects confidence. But the real reason why I do that is because when my boss is talking to me, I want to make sure I am retaining what they say. If a teacher is talking, I need to know what they're saying, and I'm preparing ahead of time for my thoughts. So have your child look at you. Stop, look, and listen. That is why I start every class with eyes are watching, ears are listening, mouth is closed, body still and quiet, you should really try it. Listen well. That is why, because of the importance. Now, I wanted to do this little experiment, and please forgive my handwriting. You've probably noticed that I am wearing off and on in the videos, I have a little hand thing on. I'm waiting for carpal tunnel surgery, so my handwriting isn't really good, okay? But you'll get the point. It is really hard to learn when we have interrupting thoughts. It is really hard to read when we have interrupting thoughts. What it says is, it is really hard to focus when your brain has interrupting thoughts. But be patient with me because I can learn. I'm an ADHD teacher with dyslexia, and I graduated from college. It wasn't easy, but what is easy? But it was worth it. And the time that you're spending with your children, it is not easy, but it is worth it. And you may not see it right now, but you are making a difference by the time that you're spending with them, by giving them the regularity and the structure of the day. So remember, make them look at you. Incorporate the structure, the infrastructure of the day so that they have regularity and they're doing it every day. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. And that was a great thing that a teacher taught me. It does not make perfect. It makes permanent. So whatever you're teaching them every day, that is what's going to be permanent in them. So if it takes them 1 year to learn their alphabet, it takes them 2 years to learn their alphabet or more. That's okay. Learn the assessment. Learn what they need to know and be okay with that. Now, really quickly, because I've talked a lot on this video, I'm going to be placing these assessments, pictures, I'm going to be putting them on Class Dojo. It does not have to be perfect. I'm going to try to find one that's better than these, but I just wanted to give you an example for you to see that you just write numbers or letters and just have the kids point to them, tell you what they are. Not to make them feel bad because they don't know something. No, it's to learn what they don't know so that you can practice that. And don't feel bad if they don't know it because they will. Plus, our 3-year-olds are in a 2-year program. That's why our program is amazing. Because preschool for 2 years. So what they don't get this year, they have a whole other year of preschool readiness to get ready for kindergarten. And that is a beautiful thing. Head Start is a gift. All right, I was going to say my friends, but you guys are my adult friends. I hope that you have a wonderful week. Please, if you have any questions regarding assessment, attending, anything that I've said on this video, I am here for you. You are not alone in this, and I love you guys so very much, and I want to encourage you that what you're doing is hard. It's no joke. Preschool is no joke, but it's worth it. You're doing a great job, and I am proud of you. All right. Bye, guys.